It can be recalled that Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed recently criticized the proposed tax reform bills introduced by the Tinubu administration. According to the governor, the reforms are biased and favor certain regions over others, calling the measures calls for anarchy and warning that the president would see a real color if the bills are passed. In response, the presidency urged Governor Mohammed to retract his statement, emphasizing that such rhetoric could destabilize the unity of the country. On Tuesday, the Bauchi governor clarified that this statement was not an attack on the president, but insisted that Tinubu should prioritize consultation with governors and other stakeholders. As the head of the federation, President Tinubu must listen to us as federating units. He should avoid an attitude of impunity that suggests the reforms will proceed no matter our concerns. Mohammed said. Meanwhile, Bola, the special advisor to the president on policy communication, has described the governor's remarks as inflammatory and a direct threat to the Nigerian government. Speaking on the matter, Bala said the president is a listening leader who values dialogue. He said it is inappropriate for governors to resort to blackmail instead of engaging constructively with the lawmakers on these issues. Governor Mohammed and 18 of his northern colleagues rejected the tax reform bills. The National Economic Committee, headed by Vice President Kashim Shettima, also rejected the bills, which have sparked widespread debates since their introduction in the National Assembly. Despite the pushback, President Tinubu has stood firm, stating that the reforms are necessary for Nigeria's economic development and sustainability. Well, that's quite interesting, Frank. I would like to get your thoughts on this, as they are coming to say Tinubu is a listening president as regards to what Governor Bala said.
And who is saying that?
About the tax reform.
No, who is saying that?
The president.
So you did expect him to tell what the president is not working? He's not listening to people. If he does that, then he's out of office. No, that's the truth. If he does that, he's out of office. In short, he won't stay even 12 hours.
All right.
But ordinarily, you see, we must look at it, the nitty-gritty of the reforms.
Yes.
But it's not because it's coming from Mr. President, so it is holistic. Sorry. I was in a forum somewhere where this matter was brought up. These tax reform bills that all of us are clamoring is good. Can we just sit down and look at it? That the lecturer who taught us during that meeting said that this can lead to massive sacking of people from their job, especially in the oil and gas free zone.
Okay.
And mind you, it's a river state. I was also told that if you are not taking, River State will not be getting what she used to get. Some states will now be getting more than River State. The modalities that we are using, that the federal government is going to use, is what Nigerians are wary of. But one, tax. I'm not against tax, because in civilized society, tax is a major way of generating revenue to run a government and to also provide social or public amenities. So there are some countries that they don't have oil.
Right.
They depend on tax or taxes. But this particular tax reform bill that we are clamoring on now, that it must be passed in 12 hours. If not that the Northerners, let me say this, stood their ground and said, look, this we need to look into it. By now, it will have been passed.
All right, so let me get your...
So, coming to the point, what they are saying, some people have spotted some things that will also cause them not to fly high.
All right.
So, there's need for the presidency, like why Bala said what he said, that president should not be hasty in making sure that because this bill is coming from him.
Well, let's take a look at critically what he said. Let's take a critical look at it. He says the reforms are biased and favor certain regions over others. They're calling the measures, that these measures calls for anarchy and, warning for
because
the rest of it.
That's what I'm saying. Because if you observe now, this will reduce some revenue going to some states.
Well, are you saying there are no proper ways you could address this instead of, using these words?
let me tell you, he's a politician.
All right.
So you can use word to get favor, to woo people to him. Because as we're discussing now, those on the side of the president are bent to see how the bill should become law in Nigeria. And so if you have the capacity to also see how to scuttle it, like as I'm saying now, if not that the northern state governors, so to say, are now together on this matter, that the way they are looking, this matter is not going to benefit them in a way. Man, the what they're discussing is not about you and me, it's about the money that will go into their hands.
All right.
But as a governor now, if for instance, like I said, like I have been told about 3 weeks ago, that the money, if this tax reform bill becomes law, River State will not get enough as they used to get. If you are from River State or you are the governor, will you be happy that if you are receiving, let's say, 100 billion in a month, and by virtue of this tax reform bill, you are not going to receive 80 billion? Will you be happy? So that's the issue. And why they say you should listen to the call of the people and look at way to amend some. There's nothing wrong in amending some aspects of the bill. It's a phenomenal bill. I've seen it's a phenomenal bill, very big. So there is need for Mr. President also to listen to some people who are agitating against the reform. But one thing is that the tax reform that all of us are discussing, yes, can be beneficial to some people and can be obnoxious to some people.
So why do you think this is going to be obnoxious, using your word, to
when
some people?
You are not, when by virtue of the reform, what your take home goes down, will you be happy?
Okay, so are you saying that the current tax reform is suitable, is okay for the people?
No, there is need for reform. There's not everything on it.
There's need for reform.
There's everything on it. There's need for reform, but the reform must be holistic. I must be transparent. I must be void of parochial sentiment and political sentiment.
Okay.
But what I see today is that there is also tribal sentiment in it, political sentiment in it, and some part, also issue of geographical sentiment. That's what people have already seen, issue of production. Okay. For instance, River State, Bayelsa State, Edo State, Delta State, Akuma State, Cross River State, these are oil and gas states. From this oil, others are getting money from. Are you aware?
Good.
If oil goes down in this country now, the economy of Nigeria will go down. How are we benefiting from the so-called PID laws? Are we actually benefiting the way we should benefit? So nothing wrong if we come together and look at point. Can the president? That's why you hear now the president's program is saying he's a listening president. But if the president is a listening president, he should calm down. Now look at the people. There should be serious town hall meeting. It is not because it's coming from the president, therefore people should not contribute. I hope you are with me.
Well, so far there have been contributions as regards to this. The
contribution, how is it done? Is it by just mere politicians coming up to sit down in one place and say, yes, we are support? Businessmen and women, those who do petty trading. But if you look at it, we need tax reform that should be holistic. Tax reform that should be beneficial to the people and to the economy. Because it's not that bad, because it's away from the brain, because like we've said, we have been told, whether it's biased or not, that the tax reform is going to favor Lagos very well. I don't know if you have heard of that.
That's allegedly.
No, that's what I said, we have been told. So there is need, this suspicion may not be out of place. And that is why the president should give room for serious ventilation of this matter, and the National Assembly should be able to give room for people to actually bring out the defects of that particular bill, so that everything can be corrected, so that even those who are aggrieved can see. But there's a way you even convince me, and I will accept, not just because it's coming from Mr. President, I will accept that we need to talk to those who are aggrieved. Look, this is it. You are doing this, you are doing that. We need to correct this anomaly. But as we're discussing today, the money from oil and gas is what is running this country. But we have solid measures that we have, like you said, allegedly, that some people are tapping in the north. But in this part of the world, government is now bent to fight what we call illegal oil bunkering. Are you aware? Every day you see helicopter flying in the air, bombing illegal oil site. We need to know what is happening in the oil, in the solid minerals. Are you aware?
Well, let's get this straight.
Yeah.
Let's get this straight. You know, some people in the north are actually kicking against the tax reform bills, and they're not saying that this should be open for dialogue, right?
Yes.
For scrutiny.
Yes.
I think. Don't you think it would be really, you know, it will make sense if this is being, if they're saying, okay, let's open this for dialogue instead of, you know, rejecting or kicking against the bill in its entirety.
And that's what Bala is saying. No, they're not kicking about the bill. Give room for more discussion. Like I said, I use myself personally. I may be against something initially, but with proper discussion, dialogue. Oh, Frank, you thought this was against you. No, it wasn't against you. I can be convinced, and I'll be the one running the advertisement that, oh, it's good, it's good. I can be the one campaigning that we shall accept. So what it's not, you know, sometimes the high-handedness of political leaders, because it's coming from them, nobody should even contribute to it. It's wrong. So I'm not saying that the bill should not be accepted.
All right.
But I'm saying the bill, in the process of making the bill a law, there should be contribution from everybody who should be a victim and who should be a victor, who should be a beneficiary and who should be a loser. Because whether I like it or not, somebody must, in a way, who is gaining from which is supposed to gain, should be made to understand. But if I'm the one producing this book and I'm not getting what somebody is not producing is one getting it, we need to sit down.
All right.
So that's nothing wrong. What the northern people are doing, in a way, is a good way of solving problems, because conflict resolution is very, very difficult to.
I mean, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand how, most especially, I'm going to use this, the Bala case, the Bauchi governor, as a case study now, how his words, you know, would help the matter. Don't you think, I beg your pardon, that this is going to probably in some ways lead to anarchy or destabilize?
No, it was...
Looking at his word critically.
No, let us be frank. The one speaking that the president is a listening
president, yeah.
As the president even say, I think since this issue of tax reform began, did Mr. President even say anything publicly? Sorry, I'm still monitoring what is happening. This is the presidential bill, so to say. Yeah, this tax reform is from Mr. President. It's not a bad thing, but people are agitating. Can we give room? See, in Nigeria, let me tell you, one of the things that is killing this country is that when things are coming from the leaders, the common masses are not giving room to air their opinions, whether their opinions will count or not. I'm not saying that the bill is a bad one, but I'm saying so far as there's a kind of agitation against the bill, can we also look into what they are pointing to and see how to convince them to know that this is good, this is wrong. Let us correct it. I don't know if like for instance, Rivers State is one of the oil producing states in Nigeria. And everybody is sharing from it. Like I said before, I was also told that this bill, if not properly handled, can lead to sacking of workers. It is difficult to get work in Nigeria, and people are going out. So this bill should be to enhance well-being or livelihood of Nigerians, and to make government to have more money to do infrastructure. I'm not against the bill, but I'm saying, because of this agitation, can that be a window of opportunity to discuss? Even this Bala Mohammed should be also be called and let him point out. Because today it's like everything is done under blanket statement. They should come out, Bala Mohammed, what do you actually want? But others say, oh, did not. I know the pay politics on the bill. So sorry, people are paying politics on it. Can we come out and say, look, this is it. Let Bala Mohammed point out what is making him to be aggrieved. And let some experts in tax laws come out.
This is not just about Bala.
That's what I'm saying.
18 of them.
No, it is. Now is the person who is speaking for all. He can also be called, because he's a leader now of the 18. You know, we have what we call 19 northern states. If, for instance, he's the one speaking out, it can be cropped into. the committee and say, come and express your opinion. Point out, and in doing that, there's nothing wrong in schooling him on this bill. There's nothing wrong in telling him this is the benefit. This is the benefit of the reform bill, of the tax reform bill. There's no wrong thing you are getting from where you don't need to get from. What is wrong in it? For that Bola Ahmed is getting from where he is not working, we need to let him know. There's nothing wrong. This is where we play the hostage. That Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Akubon State, Edo State, Bala State, and Cross River State, and Ondo State will make the revenue of Nigeria to go higher, and yet everybody shine from the same fund. I don't need to get with the point I'm trying to make.
All right.
I am of the opinion that there should be a human face.
Okay.
To make this tax reform bill a law that will stand the test of time.
All right.
So that everybody will contribute to it. Okay. Not just because it's from the president, therefore everything is right.
All right.
There should be a town hall meeting. Serious one.
All right.